The stars looked peaceful. Nothing moved in Sector 41, a quiet corner of the galaxy. Trade ships passed by every few days. Mining stations floated near asteroid belts. People lived calm, simple lives, until the silence came. One morning, the small planet Vextar 9 stopped sending signals. The trade beacons went dark. The orbit station vanished from scanners. A scout ship was sent to check, but it never returned. The Galactic Union thought it was just a system failure, but then Helios 3, a farming world with 4 million people, also went dark. No warning, no explosions, no calls for help. Just nothing. The Union grew nervous. They sent a message to every system nearby. Report any unusual activity, stay alert. But it was too late. In 1 week, 5 planets and 3 space stations vanished. The last message from the 5th planet, Zoran Prime, was short and broken. We see shadows. The stars are gone. They are... Then silence. Total, terrifying silence. The emergency meeting inside the Grand Hall of the Galactic Union, chaos broke out. Leaders of over 100 species shouted over each other. Holograms flickered. Alarm sirens echoed in the hall. Admiral Krell Vorn, a 4-armed warrior from the Dralak Empire, slammed his hand on the table. We are under attack. This is not a natural event. The insectoid diplomat from Hive World 7 hissed. We don't see anything on our scanners. No ships, no energy readings, nothing. It's worse than war, whispered General Mott, a cold-skinned being from the ice world, Tarth. It's like they were erased. The room grew quiet. Every leader turned toward the one figure who had not spoken. Ambassador Rhea, the human representative from Earth, stood calmly with her hands behind her back. She wore no armor, no weapons, just a black suit with the Earth insignia on her chest. Someone finally asked, "Does Earth know what this is?" She slowly nodded. Yes. Gasps filled the room. Admiral Krell growled. Then why didn't you warn us? Rhea's eyes were cold. Because we hoped it was gone forever. Something older than war. Hundreds of years ago, long before the Galactic Union formed, Earth fought a terrible war. Not with aliens, not with itself, but with something different. Records were destroyed. The survivors never spoke of it. But, deep underground in hidden bunkers, Earth locked away knowledge of an ancient threat. A race of beings not made of flesh or metal, but something in between. Memory feeders. They moved through space without ships. They didn't talk. They didn't demand. They just arrived and erased everything. Cities, people, machines, history. They left nothing behind. Just cold, silent ground where life once lived. No one knew where they came from. No one knew what they wanted. They didn't conquer. They deleted, and now they were back. The call to Earth, the Union begged for help. We are losing entire worlds. We can't even detect the enemy. How did Earth survive this before? Ambassador Rhea looked around the room. Her voice was calm but firm. Earth didn't survive, she said. Millions died. We only stopped them with something we swore never to use again. What is it? Asked the Hive Queen. Rhea gave a small, grim smile. We called it Protocol 7, but to the survivors it became known as the Last Defense. The Dralak Admiral growled, then activated again. Call your fleet. Rhea shook her head. Earth has no fleet. Shouts of panic broke out again. No fleet. Are you mad? Your worlds will be next. She raised her hand. Earth has something better. Earth's silence, back on Earth. Things were strangely calm. The news channels didn't speak of the missing planets. The public knew nothing. But deep under the surface, hidden bunkers came to life. Cold lights turned on. Ancient systems rebooted. A massive AI core, called Silent Core, woke up after 300 years. Confirmed threat level Code Black. A human technician whispered, "Confirmed, code black." The AI responded, "Protocol 7 activated, accessing." Arc systems, opening Vault 12. A massive gate under the Atlantic Ocean began to open. Water poured down into the void as something large, very large, began to rise from the depths. It had no name, only a code. NS-1, the night ship. The watching eyes far across the galaxy. The memory feeders gathered again. They had no ships. They floated, like dark shadows blending with the stars. They consumed energy. They consumed thought. They had no sound, no light. But now, they had noticed Earth. Something had awakened, something familiar. They turned and began to move. The Union's doughty. Union's fleets assembled near Sector 41, thousands of warships, elite battlecruisers, advanced scanners, but none of them could detect the enemy. "We're blind," said General Mott. Suddenly, a Union scout ship picked up a reading, a faint signal near the gas giant Valtar. The fleet moved in. What they saw was not the enemy. It was something else, a massive ship, blacker than space, no lights, no markings. It just floated, no heat, no sound. But it was Earth-made, and it had arrived. The message ambassador Rhea stood before the Union leaders again. A small device buzzed on her wrist. She looked at them and spoke. "It's begun. The night ship has arrived." Admiral Krell growled, "That single ship against all that?" Rhea smiled faintly. "It's not just a ship. It's a warning." The Hive Queen leaned forward. "To the enemy?" Rhea shook her head. "To everyone else." Final scene, end of part 1. In the darkness of deep space, the night ship powered up. No engine glow. No weapons deployed. Just a low vibration, so deep that even time itself seemed to pause. Then, across the galaxy, every AI, every satellite, and every scanner displayed one word: "Do not follow." And in that moment, the galaxy knew. Something deadly had returned, and Earth wasn't afraid. To be continued in part 2. The last signal spoke of a shadow, then cut off. Let me know जब आप part 2 लिखवानी चाहें. मैं तैयार हूँ. हर पार्ट फुल सस्पेंस और सिंपल थर्ड पर्सन स्टाइल में मिलेगा. अगर आपको इसमें कोई चीज चेंज करनी हो या थंबनेल टेक्स्ट भी चाहिए हो तो वो भी बता दीजिएगा. The last signal came from a scout ship named Vigil 3. It was fast, quiet, designed to sneak through dangerous zones and report back. The Galactic Union had sent it to investigate the strange black ship seen near the gas giant Valtar. The crew of Vigil 3 was made up of 5 specialists, 2 insectoid pilots, 1 avian engineer, and 2 humans trained in advanced sensor work. They were confident. They were wrong. Shadows in space, Vigil 3 approached the strange ship slowly. It was massive, 3 times larger than a dreadnought, but it floated silently like a ghost. No signs of life, no heat, no weapons detected. "Are we sure this is from Earth?" one pilot asked. The human technician, Mira Lane, nodded. "The design matches lost Earth records, and there's one signal buried deep inside its core. It's alive." The crew stared at the screen. "Alive? You mean there's someone on board?" "No," Mira said quietly. "I mean, the ship is alive." Suddenly, their screens flickered, static, and then a voice. The voice, it didn't speak in words. It spoke in thought. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It just whispered. "You are not welcome." The entire crew froze. One of the pilots gasped. That wasn't from the ship's comm system. That was inside my head. Before they could respond, every light inside the ship dimmed. Their engines failed. Their shields dropped. Then, from the dark side of the black ship, something unfolded, like wings of shadow. But they weren't real wings. They were just absence. A shape made of missing light. The final message from Vigil 3 was sent to Union Command. It's not a ship. It's a shadow wearing armor. Then silence, forever. Panic at the Union. When the message reached the Union, fear spread like fire. The Grand Hall echoed with screams. They're taking our minds now. They erased another crew. They're inside our systems. The Hive Queen slammed her claws on the table. We must fall back. But Earth's ambassador Rhea stood still. Calm. Focused. She activated a small device on her wrist. A hologram appeared. Vigil 3's last footage. It showed the black ship turning, just slightly, and for half a second the stars behind it vanished, as if space itself bent around it. Earth's warning. Rhea looked at the leaders. You wanted to understand it. Now you do. Admiral Krell shouted. We still don't know what it is, Rhea replied. It's not just a ship. It's part of the system we built to stop the memory feeders. But it just destroyed our scout ship. Rhea shook her head. No, it warned you. You didn't listen. The Tarth general leaned forward. You're saying it could have erased them, but it chose not to? Rhea nodded. It could have removed them without a trace, but it gave them one final message. The room fell silent. Earth's past revealed. Hundreds of years ago, during Earth's silent war, the memory feeders reached Earth's outer colonies. They didn't destroy cities. They erased presence, the memory, the history, the identity of entire worlds. Earth created Project Nightship as a last defense, not to fight with firepower, but with something worse. The Nightships carried deep core AI, systems trained to think like the enemy, systems that could erase memory itself, turning weapon into thought and silence. The Nightships were alive, but too dangerous, so Earth buried them in oceans, locked them under ice, and erased their records. Until now. The feeders shift in deep space, far beyond the Union's reach. The bow. Memory feeders paused. They had touched many species. They had eaten stars. But now they had felt resistance. A signal had touched their mind space, a warning in the old tongue. They remembered the shape. They remembered Earth. And for the first time, in centuries, they turned away, but only for a moment. The Union's mistake a group of aggressive species within the Union, led by the warlike Grathans, decided Earth was a threat. If this Nightship can erase minds, said General Rogg, then what happens? If Earth turns it on us? They launched 3 stealth ships toward the black vessel, hoping to scan it or destroy it. They made a fatal mistake. The Nightship didn't move. It didn't fire weapons, but all 3 Grathan ships disappeared. There were no explosions, no wreckage, just absence. And once again a single message echoed across their systems. Do not approach again. Earth Responds Ambassador Rhea didn't smile. She didn't speak with anger. She just said, you don't understand. Earth did not send the Nightship. We only woke it. You can't command it? Asked the Hive Queen. Rhea nodded. No, it acts on memory signatures. It recognizes enemies by what they carry inside their minds. If you carry fear, aggression, betrayal, it sees it. Admiral, Krell growled. Then what does it see in us? Rhea replied, that depends on what you've done. The new fear. Now the galaxy feared 2 things. 1. The invisible threat erasing planets. 2. The human ship that didn't fight like the others, but erased thought, time, and identity. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, the memory feeders paused. 4. The first time in centuries when something had made them hesitate, but hesitation was not retreat. They would return. And this time, with a new question. Can memory itself be hunted? Final scene. End of part 2. In orbit above a dying star, the Nightship waited. Inside its core, deep core AI whispered calculations. It saw everything. It read fear. It read betrayal. And it remembered a time when Earth itself begged for help. Not from Gods, not from machines, but from something worse. Now, that something was awake again, and the galaxy had just seconds left to decide, would it stand beside Earth, or be remembered by nothing? The Galactic Union didn't sleep. Since the night ship appeared, fear had infected every system. Some wanted to run, some wanted to hide, but most wanted to fight. The memory feeders were still erasing planets. More than 10 were gone now. Whole civilizations turned to silence. No remains, no signs of battle, just blank, lifeless ground. And Earth, still silent. The night ship floated like a dead god, dark and unmoving, watching the stars. And the galaxy waited. The first strike. The Zernax, Armada, proud and full of rage, launched their assault. They sent 500 ships toward a fading world, Galactic 5, hoping to intercept the enemy that erased it. They were known for firepower, not patience. Their strategy was simple. Overwhelm the darkness with light. But light doesn't fight shadows. When they reached Galactic 5, they saw nothing at first. No enemies, no ships, just a soft mist floating across the planet's orbit. Then it started. One by one, the Zernax ships began losing power. First lights, then shields, then memories. The captains forgot their names, pilots forgot how to steer, weapons locked themselves, and in less than a minute, all 500 ships were silent, not destroyed, empty, as if no one had ever been inside. Earthwatches, far away in Earth's deep command bunker, the leaders watched quietly. Ambassador Rhea stood beside General Halvan, Earth's military director. He asked, "Shall we send another night ship?" Rhea shook her head. "Not yet. Let them understand first. Let them feel what we did." "Isn't that cruel?" he asked. "No," she replied. "It's memory." The galaxy panics, more fleets tried. The Quarn Defense Circle sent invisible ships. The Dravik Swarm used AI drones and thought weapons. The Kalari Coalition launched light bombs meant to destroy shadow matter. All failed. The more advanced their technology, the faster they were erased. One Union diplomat cried out during a broadcast, "We are ants throwing dust at a storm." At last, they turned again to Earth. This time, not with blame, but with fear. "What can we do?" they asked. "What stopped this before?" Ambassador Rhea finally gave them a name. Project Echo Black. Project Echo Black, deep beneath Antarctica. A lab older than most Earth cities lit up. Inside it sat a man, not a soldier, not a machine, but a quiet, pale man with empty eyes. He wore a simple black uniform, no rank, no badge. His name was Solin Gray. He was the last surviving commander of Earth's memory war, and he wasn't fully human anymore. Solin's story. Solin had once commanded a night ship called NS9. He watched his crew forget their families. He watched friends turn to hollow ghosts. And when the war ended, he volunteered to carry the last memories, millions of erased thoughts, inside his mind. Now, when he speaks, old voices whisper through him. The galaxy had no idea such a man existed. But now, they needed him. Rhea stood in front of Solin. "It's time," she said. Solin looked up. "They're not feeding anymore," he whispered. "They're hunting." Earth finally moves. The Union begged Earth for help, so Earth responded, but not with fleets, not with bombs. With 3 things. A single night ship moved from Earth's orbit. A coded transmission sent across every planet. "Remember what you fear, then bury it." Solin Gray stepped onto a Union command ship. His presence alone made some alien officers back away. "What is he?" they whispered. "He's the one who remembers." Confronting the feeder, Solin guided the Union fleets to a dead system. No light, no planets, only dust. He stood in the center of the command bridge and said nothing. Then, He closed his eyes, and across the void, the memory feeders arrived. They didn't need ships. They came like shadows riding silence. But this time something strange happened. They paused. One of the larger shadows drifted toward the Union flagship. Everyone froze. Weapons locked, shields up. Solin stepped forward. He didn't blink. He didn't shake. He just spoke. "You know me." The shadow vibrated like a storm underwater, and for the first time ever, it spoke back, not with words, but with grief. Thousands of lost memories poured into the ship, images of people, places, laughter, sorrow, then silence again. Solin fell to one knee. The decision ambassador Rhea watched from Earth. "Did it work?" someone asked. "No," she said. "Not yet. But now they know he's alive." "Who?" Rhea looked into the stars. "The one they couldn't erase." Final scene. End of part 3. Solin stood up. He turned to the command crew. "They want to feed. They always will. But now," he said, his voice echoing strangely, "they remember something stronger than hunger." The Admiral asked, "What?" Solin's eyes turned black for a moment. "Fear." And behind him, the night ship opened fully. It didn't charge weapons. It didn't fire. It simply opened its mind, and space itself began to shake. The night ship opened, not like a machine, not like a weapon, but like a mind. Across space, it unfolded its thoughts. Waves of invisible pressure moved across the stars. Ships lost control. Time flickered. Gravity curled inward. And then came silence. Voices silenced. Inside the Union flagship, every comlink went dead. No signals in, no signals out. Solin Gray stood at the center of the bridge, eyes closed, lips barely moving. He was listening, not to the ship, but to the thing inside, the deep core AI. It didn't answer in words, it answered in memories. 1,000 voices from the past echoed inside his head. We buried it in darkness. They feared light, but feared thought more. Do not try to understand it. Just remember what it stopped. The crew stared at the night ship in terror. "Why won't it speak?" the alien admiral asked. Solin replied, "Because it doesn't need to. Its silence is the warning." The failed contact. The Galactic Union tried everything. Translation drones, mind linkers, emotional waveforms, even a high-level telepath from the Tyranny system. Each attempt ended the same way. Silence, but not empty silence. Heavy silence. Every time they tried to speak to the night ship, they returned, shaking, dizzy. Or worse, one engineer forgot her name, another forgot how to breathe, one commander forgot that war ever existed and laughed until his heart stopped. Then, Earth made one final attempt. They didn't send words. They sent a memory, a message from Mu. Earth from Earth's surface. Rhea uploaded a single file, a child's voice, laughing in a meadow, running, singing. Her name, Ava. Age, 6. She lived on Helios 3, one of the first colonies erased during the Memory War. Her voice reached the night ship, and, for the first time, it moved. A reaction. The night ship rotated slowly. Its outer skin shifted, showing brief images like flickers in water. A house, a dog, a warm sun. The ship wasn't just remembering. It was mourning. The AI inside had once been human, or something like. It and Ava's memory, pure and bright, brought it pain, not anger, not hate, but pain so deep it bent space. A risk taken. Solin stepped forward. "I need to enter the night ship," the Admiral shouted. "That's suicide." Rhea appeared on the main screen, her voice calm but firm. "Let him go. He's the only one it might still listen to." No one stopped him. Solin entered the drop pod, alone. He crossed space toward the night ship. As he got closer, The stars behind it vanished again, like reality folding inward. Inside the mind, the pod entered the ship's core. No doors opened, no machines moved. He simply appeared. He was no longer inside a vessel. He was inside memory. He stood on a beach, dark sky, grey water, and before him stood a little girl, Ava, but not truly her, a ghost of a ghost. She looked at him and said softly, "They're coming again." Solin nodded. "I know." Ava pointed to the horizon. Solin turned. There, in the sky, were the feeders. Thousands, not shadows anymore, but shapes, clawed, hungering, real, and behind them, something new, a black sun, the coming storm, outside the night ship. Sensors lit up, mass signatures detected. They're coming through rift space. Not hundreds, not thousands, millions. The memory feeders were no longer erasing quietly. They were now invading. Planet after planet began blinking out. Some planets didn't even send distress signals. They just vanished. The galaxy screamed, but Earth did not panic. Because Earth had been here before. The night ship wakes inside the core. Ava disappeared. The beach cracked open. Solin stood alone again. But now, the deep core AI saw him fully, and it remembered. Solin had once made a promise. "If they return, I'll return with you." The ship accepted, and Solin's body vanished, but not completely. He became part of it. The night ship now had a voice again, and it was his. Final scene, end of part 4. Across the stars, the night ship's voice echoed for the first time, not over comms, not through machines, but through memory itself. "We are what you erased. We are what you forgot. We are coming." Every feeder stopped, every Union fleet froze, and Earth whispered just 2 words. "It begins." The galaxy had forgotten what fear really meant. But now, the night ship had spoken, and with just one sentence, thousands of species realized their weapons meant nothing, their shields, their fleets, their pride. All were useless now, because something had awakened, and it remembered everything, the voice that shook the stars. "We are what you erased." When Solin Grey, now one with the night ship, said those words, something broke in the universe. Literally, 2 stars collapsed. Just like that. Without warning, without time. One in the Trelac system, the other near Velas Prime. Astronomers screamed. Scientists wept, and deep inside every intelligent being, something ancient stirred. Terror. Union headquarters. In panic, admirals yelled across screens. Alien ministers argued. Did Earth do this? Is the night ship alive? Do we attack it? But Earth didn't reply. Earth just watched. Ambassador Rhea stood silent in her command room, eyes locked on the night ship's dark silhouette. Someone whispered beside her, "We should stop it." She shook her head. "No, this is the second warning." The first had been silence. This was voice. Feeders descend across. 47 sectors. Memory feeders appeared, not drifting shadows anymore. Now they had form, solid, massive. Their bodies were shaped like ships, but moved like thoughts, blinking in and out of real space. They didn't fire weapons. They simply touched planets, and everything, memory, life, time, vanished. On Roveth 6, a city of 10 million disappeared in 3 seconds. On Draxel Moon, only a song remained, looping endlessly from a music box. And on Zur, one child was found, walking alone, whispering, "I remember being born," and then nothing. The return of NS-1. Then Earth did something no one expected. From a black vault under the Pacific Ocean, they reactivated NS-1, the first night ship. Older than most civilizations, it had never been used again after the last war, because even Earth feared it. Its AI was unstable, its memory too full of ghosts. Its last commander had vanished inside its core, just like Solon. But now, it floated once more, side by side with Solon's ship, 2 night ships, 2 minds, 1 purpose. Memory becomes weapon. The night ships didn't launch missiles, they launched thoughts. Weaponized memories, entire dreams were converted into waveforms, then fired like cannons. 1 blast hit a feeder above zero space. That feeder didn't explode, it stopped, and then began crying. Every surface on its dark form shook. It screamed with the voices of all it had ever erased. Billions of screams. Then it tore itself apart. Not from damage, from guilt. Aliens break down. In orbit of a forgotten moon, a Dravic general dropped. To his knees, he heard a voice from 100 years ago, his sister, long dead. She whispered, "Why did you forget me?" He pulled his helmet off and wept. Others followed. Fleets froze, ships drifted, and through it all, the night ships kept remembering louder. The third warning, Solon's voice returned. Every speaker in the galaxy turned on, even ones buried, even ones powered off. Even stone walls hummed, his words echoed. "We begged you to let the past rest. You fed on our minds, now you'll feed on yourselves. This is your third warning, and then, we are still holding back." The shattered alliance, the Galactic Union, began breaking. Some wanted peace, others wanted Earth destroyed. Before it was too late, a fleet of 200 ships was ordered to surround Earth. They never made it. Some lost fuel, some lost direction, some forgot why they were flying. 1 ship turned around. Thinking Earth was already a myth, only 1 ship reached orbit. Inside it was a scientist. She didn't attack. She played a piano, a real one, and broadcast a melody into space. The night ship paused, then answered back with the same tune, but played backwards, a message hidden in every note. "We see you, you still remember." That ship was allowed to leave. The black sun rises. From deep in feeder space, something new appeared. Not a creature, not a ship, a black sun. Real, unknown. It wasn't made of fire, it was made of loss. Stars near it dimmed, planets twisted. 1 planet turned into its own past, oceans reversed, cities unbuilt. It was heading toward Earth. The feeders followed it like worshippers, and even the night ships stopped. Solon whispered, "It's not just them anymore." Ambassador Rhea replied, "Then what is it?" "It's what erased them too." Final scene, end of part 5. All screens across Earth lit up, all languages translated the same message. "We must go deeper," Solon's voice again. But this time, changed, less human, more ancient. The 2 night ships turned away from the stars. They pointed toward the black sun, and they began to move. Not through space, through memory itself. And, with that, the stars behind them blinked out. Not because of the feeders, but because they no longer wanted to be seen. It didn't speak with sound, it didn't send signals, it didn't even glow. The black sun just was. It floated like a wound in space, black as death, deeper than time. Every second it moved closer to Earth, and everything between it and Earth began to forget itself. Planets forgot their shape, moons forgot gravity, beings forgot they were alive. But Earth did not forget. Earth remembered, and Earth answered. A sun that thinks on board. The Galactic Union's last science station, alien minds. Cracked. Dr. Kesva, a Lorian neuro-reader, dropped to her knees. She stared at the black sun's image and whispered, "It's not a star. It's a mind." The room fell silent. Someone asked, "Then why is it coming?" Dr. Kesva looked up, terrified. "It doesn't want to destroy us. It wants to absorb us." Earth's hidden weapon back on Earth, a desert mountain split, open. Under it was something the galaxy had never seen, a stellar flame core. Built during Earth's last dark age, powered by collapsed suns, controlled by only one AI. It was called Ember. It had never been turned on, because even humans feared what it would become. But now, Rhea gave the order. Light it. Ember awakens. The planet shook. Birds fell from the sky. Clouds vanished. Then, from the mountain's heart, Ember's voice rose. Core online. Threat confirmed. Memory integrity secured. Its body wasn't metal, it was light, fire shaped like a man, and when Ember stepped onto the Earth's crust, grass turned to ash beneath its feet. He looked up. He did not see a sun. He saw a challenge. The night ships divide in space. Solin's night ship turned toward the black sun. The second ship, NS-1, turned away. Rhea gasped. Why is it retreating? Solin answered through comms. It isn't retreating, it's protecting. What's behind it? I go forward to speak. Ember goes forward to burn. NS-1 stays to remember what's left. They were forming 3 layers: mind, flame, memory, and then the battle began. The thought attack. The Black Sun didn't launch weapons. It broadcasted thoughts, not messages, commands. Whole alien fleets stopped mid-space and turned toward Earth, unaware. They thought they were going home. One admiral even called his dead mother and said, "I'll be home soon." They were being used, like puppets, like memories written over. But Ember saw them coming, and Ember did not blink. Fire returns to the void with a gesture. Ember raised one hand. From his palm shot a white flame. It didn't burn like normal fire. It remembered how the galaxy used to be and set it back to that state. The ships rushing toward Earth stopped, unmanned, quiet. Their crews suddenly awoke, as if from a nightmare, then turned and fled. The galaxy had a name for such a thing: reality fire. Only Earth had it. Only Ember was it. Solin enters the sun. Solin's night ship reached the black sun. Its hull began to melt, not from heat, but from thought pressure. The AI inside screamed. Solin whispered, "Let me in," and suddenly, he was inside it. Inside the black sun. There was no light, no sound, only regret. He floated through memories that weren't his. He saw how the feeders were born, not to kill, but to preserve minds. But something had gone wrong. They had preserved too much, and now the weight of memory crushed them. They had lost themselves. The conversation without words. Solin did not speak. He projected thought. "Why come for Earth?" the Black Sun replied, not in words, but in feeling, regret, curiosity, jealousy. They feared Earth's ability to remember, to resist rewriting, to fight back. They wanted that power. They came to take it. Solin made a choice. "You want our fire? Then meet it." And he unleashed Ember's link straight into the core. Fire meets thought. The Black Sun twisted. A scream echoed through space, not from sound, but from space itself. The stars shook. Ember entered orbit. Solin's night ship exploded in light, turning into a beam. That beam met Ember's chest, and Ember burst into white flame. A sun made of memory and heat now stood before the Black Sun, and he spoke 3 words: "No more taking." Then he charged. Clash of concepts. What followed wasn't a battle. It was a war between ideas. Ember threw fire that erased lies. The Black Sun shot thoughts that erased hope. Planets nearby collapsed. Asteroid belts turned into oceans. Time jumped forward and backward. Rhea, watching from Earth, aged 6 seconds in one, then reversed, but still, Ember stood. Each flame from his body wasn't just heat, it was a truth. We remember love. We remember freedom. We remember loss, and we chose to remember it. Final strike, inside the black sun, Solin gave one final thought. You were never meant to be gods. You were just afraid of forgetting. He opened the last file from Earth's memory core, a child's drawing, stick figures, one human, one alien. Holding hands, it hit the black sun like a missile. It shattered, and from its center, light poured out, pure memory, uncontrolled, wild. The black sun screamed. It wasn't dying. It was remembering everything at once. And that broke it. Final. Scene, end of part 6. The black sun collapsed in on itself, but this time, into light, not darkness. Solin was gone, but so was the threat. Earth stood still. Ember returned to the mountain. NS-1 lowered itself into the Pacific again. The stars came back, and Rhea whispered, "For now, we're safe." But no one forgot the truth. The war had not been about fire, or ships, or power. It had been about who controls memory, and Earth had chosen to remember everything, even pain. The galaxy thought Earth would strike back, that it would send its deadliest chips to every system, that it would turn every enemy into ash. But Earth did none of that. No invasion, no threats, no pride, just silence, and that silence scared the galaxy more than any war ever had. The rebuilding begins. After the black sun collapsed, millions of alien systems rebooted their memory cores. Life returned, stars stabilized, the feeders gone. Their minds overloaded, they vanished without a trace. On Earth, cities celebrated. Children ran in the streets. Bells rang. But in the command tower, Rhea stood alone. Solin was still gone. And somewhere, someone was planning revenge. The forgotten ones in the far edge of the galaxy, Sector 91, long untouched, a species called the Valric had been watching. They were once advanced. But when the feeders erased part of the galaxy, the Valric were cut off, lost in time. Now they had returned, and they were angry. Their leaders believed Earth had unleashed the night ships. They blamed humans for the collapse of the black sun. They believed Earth had stolen their future. So they built one thing. A god bomb. One detonation. One memory wipe across half the galaxy. Earth opens its doors. While the Valric prepared for war, Earth did something shocking. It opened all its borders. No defenses, no warnings. They sent a single message. We welcome the forgotten, alien. Species that once feared Earth now arrived in peace. Some brought gifts, some brought stories, and some brought nothing, but found home anyway. Earth didn't conquer, it forgave. The spy who saw the truth, one Valric spy named Seru, landed on Earth in disguise. He expected steel walls, war machines, soldiers everywhere. Instead, he found flowers. He found a woman teaching alien children about Earth's moons. He found a man building a house for a family he had never met. And he found a recording of Solin Gray, smiling before he merged with the night ship. In the video, Solin said, "I do not fight to win. I fight so others never have to." Seru froze. His orders were clear. Place the god bomb beacon in Earth's core. But his heart wasn't. The night ship's last gift before Solin had vanished inside the black sun. He left behind a single file in Earth's system. It was locked. But now, somehow, it opened on its own. Rhea watched the file appear. It was a map, not of stars, not of planets, but of memories. Billions of them, all stored by the night ship, all sorted by hope. Solin had saved the galaxy's goodness. Rhea whispered, "He believed we could change." Seru faces. The fire Seru stood at Earth's central reactor. The god bomb trigger in his hand. One press, and half the galaxy would forget Earth even. Existed, no more fear, no more threat, but as his hand hovered, a little earth boy tugged his coat. "Sir, are you lost?" Saru froze. The boy offered him a piece of candy. Saru blinked. He dropped the device. It shattered on the floor. He dropped to his knees and cried. The Valric's final attack. But Saru's decision was too late. Above Earth, the Valric fleet appeared. 30,000 ships, all armed, all ready. Their leader sent one message: this is not a request. This is the end. The world held its breath. But before Earth could respond, Ember stepped forward, and beside him something impossible happened. The night ship returned. Solin returns. But it wasn't Solin as before. His body was light now, like thought. He stood next to Ember and said, "I brought something back." From behind him, 100 smaller lights appeared, each one a soul once lost, alien and human. Children, elders, warriors, artists, they had not been erased, they had been saved. The night ship had gone into the black sun and pulled memories back out. Solin had won, not by destroying, but by remembering. Earth forgives, the Valric leader sent another message. "You expect us to stop? After everything?" Rhea finally spoke. "No, we expect you to see. We could have erased you, but we didn't. We remember your history, your pain, your fear. You are welcome on Earth. We do not need you to fear us. We only ask that you forgive yourself." The message went silent, one by one. The Valric ships powered down. Final scene. End of Part 7. In a garden near the old Pacific Vault, Saru sat next to the little boy again. He was no longer in disguise. He wore his real face. He watched as human and alien children painted a mural of stars and ships. He whispered, "I came here to forget Earth." The boy smiled and said, "But Earth remembered you." In every corner of the galaxy, silence had returned, but it was not the silence of fear. It was the silence of peace, and at the heart of it stood one name, whispered by kings, children, warriors, and even machines: Solin Grey. The man who did not want war, the man who became memory itself, a galaxy. Healed on the edge of the Zerati Nebula, once ruled by tyrants, now bloomed gardens. The Zarin ice colonies, once shattered by the feeders, now held warmth, artificial suns made by humans everywhere. Life had returned, and in every city, school, or ship, there was a painting, statue, or symbol of Solin. But no one really knew where he was now. Not even Earth. Until something strange happened. The stars shift on Earth. Inside the Pacific Ocean, where the night ship had once slept, all sensors blinked red. Rhea, now older, grayer, rushed to command. The operator shouted, "Ma'am, you need to see this." The screen showed the stars moving, not random. They formed a pattern, a circle, then a word. Just one: remember. Suddenly, a small craft appeared, made of silver light and memory dust, and from it stepped Solin Grey. He returns. He looked the same, but not. His body flickered between human and something else: light, thought, flame. He walked barefoot on Earth's soil. Birds didn't fly away. Clouds didn't move. Time didn't tick. It was like the planet itself was holding its breath. He looked at Rhea and said, "You kept the peace." She whispered, "You brought it." He smiled gently. "No. I only reminded them who they were." The final mission, Solin didn't return to rule. He didn't return for reward. He came to deliver one last gift. He raised his hand and said, "I collected what the feeders stole. Not just people, not just thoughts, but stories." He touched Earth's ground, and suddenly a wave of light spread across the planet. Books rewritten, lost songs restored, Forgotten languages remembered, entire cultures reborn. What the galaxy thought was lost forever had been saved in Solin's mind. The memorial a year later, Earth built something no other planet dared, a station without weapons. It floated above Earth, made of glass and crystal. It was called the Solin Archive, not a place of war, but of memory. Inside were no guards, only listeners. Anyone from any world could enter, sit, and share a story, and every story was stored forever, no matter how small, no matter how sad, because Earth had learned the most powerful force in the galaxy was the power to remember. The last farewell one evening, Solin stood on a cliff watching the sunset. Rhea joined him. They ask for your speeches, for your leadership, for your face in statues. He shook his head. I didn't do this to be remembered. I did it so they wouldn't be forgotten. She placed her hand on his. Still, they remember. He nodded slowly, and then he looked up. A ship, made of silence and starlight, appeared above them. He whispered, "It's time." Where he went, no one knows. Solin stepped aboard the ship. No engine, no crew, only memory itself held it together. As it rose, it passed over every continent, and from below, every being, human and alien alike, looked up. Some waved, some bowed, some simply stood still, because they knew what they were watching, not a legend, not a god, but a man who chose peace over pride, a man who remembered all of them. Epilogue. A child asks years later, in a classroom on a small moon, a child asked, "Teacher, was Solin real?" The teacher smiled. "Do you remember your grandmother's laugh? Do you remember the first time you saw the stars? Do you remember what it felt like when someone forgave you?" The child nodded. The teacher pointed to the stars. Then yes, Solin was real, because in the galaxy he left behind, everyone remembered.